Hello and welcome back to the 100 Jobs Project. I'm your host, Katie, and we are joined today by a guest I'm really excited to learn about. Vanessa Gordon, CEO and founder of East End Taste, is here to chat with us about everything that she does. Welcome to the show, Vanessa.
Thank you so much for having me, Katie.
Yeah, I would love to hear just quick, 2-3 sentences, where you're located, what you do, and then we'll get into a full deep dive on your background later.
Definitely. So hi, everyone. I'm Vanessa Gordon. I'm the CEO and founder of East End Taste. I'm based in the Hamptons on Long Island. I also work in New York City, New York tri-state area, and internationally. And I'm an event coordinator, planner, and I also run the media component of East End Taste. So we are part digital media and part event planning and production.
And when you say event planning and production, it's typically luxury event planning and production. Am I right there? Yeah. Yes. So that's a really, really fun space to play in. So excited to hear about all of that. What we love to do on the show before we get into everything too deep is just a couple questions to break the ice, get to know you. So first, we're starting with a question that's a little unseasonal because right now we are in the middle of winter and it is very snowy where we both are. But, looking ahead to spring, summer, there's going to be a lot of fresh florals at events. Do you have a favorite flower?
My favorite flowers are daisies.
I love it.
I love them. They're absolutely, they're adorable. They're playful. They have such little personalities, I feel like, and they're very approachable. I mean, as far as decorating, I love tulips and hydrangeas, but daisies have a really special place in my heart.
Daisies were my favorite flower for a long, long time too. And, I feel like I've maybe moved into some other ones that I'm really loving right now, but I would agree they'll always have a little place in my heart too. They're so cute and really they just bring you a little spark of happiness whenever you see them.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Now, again, looking ahead toward warmer weather, are you more of a sunrise beach walk or more of a sunset cocktail kind of gal?
Oh, both. It's so hard to choose. It depends on my mood. If I have a really exciting day ahead of me, definitely more morning. But if it's a, slow, lingering day, definitely evening.
Do you live pretty close to the beach too? Are you able to access it regularly?
Yes, I live about 10 minutes walk from the beach.
Okay, so a sunrise beach walk is very doable for you.
Yes.
You've got a big day. You want to just, feel some sand between your toes, listen to the ocean. Amazing.
Yes.
Well, I wish you a lot of both of those in the future. Now, you work in an event space. So I'm curious, would you prefer to be dressed up for an event or cozy in sweatsuits or yoga pants?
That is such a great question. So as you can see, I'm not working. I'm not at an event. When I go to events and I'm either working at them or I'm going as an attendee or a guest, because I go to a number of events as well, just to I would say become inspired, but, more, relationship building and such. As you can see, this is me. This is me when I'm not working. It's my slightly oversized sweatshirt. I'm not gonna have my patterned yoga pants on and my socks and my slipper. I always have slippers. Always. I'm a big slipper person.
Mm-hmm.
What do I prefer? I mean, to be honest, you really have to force me to put hair, do my hair and get my makeup done. And the only reason my hair is still done is because I don't even move when I sleep. So I keep the style as long as physically possible. I'm going to take it out tomorrow. And
that's amazing that you're able to keep hairstyles in day over day. Are you a back sleeper then, or are you more of a side sleeper?
Okay. Side, and I just don't move.
Oh, amazing. That sounds like a good, solid night of sleep.
I don't know where that came from, too. I was never always like that. I was always the one that was kicking and, I don't know, moving the sheets about. But no, I literally, it's the funniest thing when you wake up and you pull the bed, you would never think anyone was sleeping in bed.
The hotel people, whenever you're staying, are just
mm-hmm.
Is someone actually here?
Boop,
still made.
And then boop, still made.
That's amazing.
And what's really crazy? I could drink 5 or 6 cups of coffee and it has no effect on me. It doesn't wake me up. And I could drink, I'll have an espresso before bed just because it makes no difference to me. And I'm always fascinated with people that'll shade, they get jittery or it affects them. And I've always, since I was a kid, so I didn't start drinking coffee. Well, that's not true. I started drinking coffee more for the taste when I was about 16. But I need my coffee to wake up. Oh, this stuff does nothing to me. Nothing.
Fabulous. Well, I love it. I am also wearing my yoga pants right now, and I have a nice cozy blanket that is behind the scenes. So now, last question. we do this every time, is what's in your work bag or what is in your workspace. Like 3 to 4 things that are just essentials for you.
Yeah, definitely. What's interesting is my business partner was the one that was telling me like you need to get AirPods. So I finally invested in getting a good pair of AirPods. So I have been always using those and utilizing those because I was always walking around with my phone. So now it's so nice to just be able to put my phone down and not be distracted and be totally not only invested in the conversation, but being able to do other things around the house. I always have like my case of business cards on me, and I go into New York City a lot, so I have self-defense tools.
Essential for the city, especially if you're out late at events or whatever else. Yeah.
And those are my big. My bag is pretty. It's calm. It doesn't have a lot of clutter in it.
Calm, quiet bag, AirPods, business cards, self-defense. Honestly, I don't know if you need much more than that.
There's always a joke. They're like, what do you really do? Like, what do you do? You're so compact and you're always ready to go. And the joke is like, I always have my passport on me.
Okay. So yeah, always ready to hop on an international flight at a moment's notice.
Yeah, so people are always showing like, what do you really do? They're like, where were you? Because I travel a lot, but not in the summer. But
you got some tools, you got your passport. Are you, traveling for events or, something else? A government coup in a far-off land. Okay, well, thank you. It's always fun to get to know people by, what you're carrying around.
Yes.
And yeah, glad you're like a super spy on the DL. Well, let's get into your career now and your life. I would love to know where things started. Was events and publishing always an interest for you, or did that come a little bit later?
So I'm a writer. I love creative writing and expressing myself very quietly, though. And what's funny is everyone asks me, do you journal? I don't journal. If I write, it's extremely intentional. I'm not saying that journaling is not intentional, but I write for a very, very specific purpose. And my idea of, I guess, journaling, if you will, is like a random piece of paper in my house, and I'll just jot an idea down, or I'll have, my notebook on me, and I'll just jot more story ideas and concepts down. But as far as just dedicating specific time to journaling, no, I don't do that. But anyway, I was married at the time and my daughter was born, and I was looking for an opportunity to, I was freelance writing at the time and thinking of, what am I going to do? I needed an outlet, if you will, to write. So I started East End Taste purely as a passion project, just as an outlet to write. And this was in tandem while I was freelance writing. So as I was going to cover different events, functions, restaurant openings, etc., I had business cards made up that said East End Taste on them. And people were asking, what is this? And I said, it's a website I created, or a platform at the time. And the social media was new. I started our Facebook page first and went on from there. And it all grew, very organically. I have no background in business at all. Didn't take any courses, nothing. It all grew from the ground up, and just aligning myself with the right people out here and them teaching me how to monetize and how to take it from a certain point to the next point, and realizing my value because I put a lot of effort and time into this project. And when I would interview people or write stories, I would dedicate a great amount of time into putting effort into the articles and such that I published. One thing grew, after another. And then I started accepting, freelance writers, would have, SEO developers, graphic designers, et cetera, an assistant, and it all grew from there. And then I was thinking of a way to market East End Taste, because you can't advertise a media platform through other media platforms. And I said, well, I can't call it an East End Taste event. So I developed a concept after going to a number of events and covering them for different freelance publications I was writing for. I said, maybe that might be an idea, is to do an event. Everyone loves events. How hard could it be?
Yeah.
It was very, very challenging, but I created the Hamptons Interactive Brunch in 2018 as a means for marketing the East End Taste platform and who I was as a business, and also as a whole brand concept. Partnered with other brands and put together a beautiful event. And that was in 2018, and I've been doing it ever since. So of course, took a little bit of break in 2020 and 2021. But then at that time, interestingly, I was helping out with more private events, helping out with private birthday parties and anniversary parties and private dinners and such out here in the Hamptons. So I still was getting a taste of the event planning experience. It was getting to understand like the laws, regulations, permits, et cetera, and was able to build. And more than it came back in 2022 And it's been, growing ever since. So then I thought about it and I said, well, instead of me just doing, the brunch event, I said, after people were asking me, can I help and plan and produce their events? I said yes. And that's how the event planning concept came to be. But it's still such an enigma, so to say. People don't understand, how it all works. Is I work in two different specialties with private events, and I also do in-house or, in company experiential marketing events, but through a lot of different strategic partnerships and such. That's a whole other wheelhouse. It's more of the marketing side of things.
So it sounds like everything that you're doing now really started growing from 2018 on. I would love to take a tiny step back pre-2018. It sounds like writing was always an interest and a passion for you. Is that what you were doing and thinking about doing through high school, through college, when you started your first job? Was it all very writing focused?
It was, except I was a teacher for a few years as well.
Okay.
And then to supplement my income there, I taught fitness classes for 6 years.
Very fun. What kind of fitness classes?
Yeah, I taught bar, indoor cycling. I taught mat Pilates and weight training through Les Mills program.
Amazing. That's a lot of certifications and just stored knowledge in your brain. Training
Yes.
Fitness classes are not for the weak.
No, and what's fascinating. It was a lot of repetitive. You needed to know not only the choreography for some of these, but you needed also to know how to differentiate the workouts for different individuals. That was the most important. I developed very, very strong relationships with my clients there, and it's so wonderful to see them still going, because I worked with a lot of with the older elderly.
Yeah.
So I worked at different boutique gyms, hotels, and the YMCA, and different sports outlets. So it was great. I also did some privates and semi-privates.
That's busy, all while having a teaching job or something else. When you were teaching, not fitness classes, what subject or age were you teaching?
I was teaching English as a second language, mainly second and third grade, but then I went all the way up to high school.
I'm sure that was both a rewarding and challenging experience, and vastly different from what you're doing today.
I don't miss it necessarily, but I enjoyed it during that time.
Yeah.
That's because my children are in school. My daughter's in middle school. My son's in elementary school. So I help guide them, in the right direction through there.
Now, how did you end up in the Hamptons?
I'm originally from out here. My family was out here, and they moved to Connecticut. And then my ex-husband is from out here as well. So we had met out here, and we in Philadelphia for a while he was in medical school, and then came back here. And because he had property and houses out here, we decided to root ourselves out here. I was here with him for 13 years, and I stay out here because we have 2 children, and my business is out here, and my clients and customers are out here.
Definitely. And I mean, I've never visited, but it sounds like an absolutely beautiful area as well. So
it is. It's very quiet now, but it's quite the place in season.
But between, being beautiful, having family, having your business out there, it certainly seems like a good place to stay.
Mm-hmm.
I am curious, as you started moving into, okay, you know what, I think that I can publish on my own. I think that I can start doing events. Was there a teacher or a mentor or an experience that helped you? Or did you just kind of wing it and figure it out on your own?
There were several different people that have helped me along the way. The marketing director, I remember, for one of the hotels that I was teaching fitness classes, really helped push me in the right direction. Fellow teachers helped as well. I had a really great support system all around. Yeah, it's really aligning yourselves with the right people, and that are there, that have been there, that have been doing this and watching, willing to see you grow and stand behind you, and still stand behind you to this day.
No, that's fabulous that you had people who were there. And I imagine different people at different points will kind of help push and, give you a confidence boost if you needed that. How did you decide, what you were publishing?
It's funny. So I always had a love for, food and wellness. So that's just naturally where I gravitated to. I never really was into, interior design, tech. I had to love what I do outside of work. But interestingly, I've grown to love more concepts of interior design. So perhaps the business has evolved in the media sense and what we cover with what I enjoy reading and learning about. And then the travel component came into play in 2019.
Okay.
And that was because, limited, in terms of what you're going to cover out here and write about. And I wanted to also create something where a local audience could follow that would be of interest to them, and also target, international base, if you will, target to a very, very specific readership group.
That sounds very strategic. And also I'm glad that it is something that still follows your own passions. Can you walk me through, now that things have grown, what does a typical work day look like for you? Because it sounds like you're juggling a lot of different balls.
The event and event season are more in season, if you will. So that's
Sure.
more April to October, but the planning is now, and it picks up again. What's picking up again now slowly trickles in, and then February, March are our heavy months, and it escalates all the way through to August, and then drops down to mid-September. And then the more the media components are in the off season. But then again, there's different fashion weeks, though we don't necessarily cover, directly, because fashion's not our beat, but we cover, dining, restaurants, spas, and wellness and concepts that people can enjoy. Or we move about to different, events, wellness events. We cover a lot with like the US Open. And in that sense, so different, like South Beach Wine Food Festival we'll do from time to time, not this year, but in other years. But we might do like the Miami Open. We've done Natural Products Expo West, things like that. So we'll move out to different recognized and on-brand different functions, trade shows, and events all across the country, if not the world too. We've even covered Florence Cocktail Week, Venice Cocktail Week, Brera Design Week in Milan. So, and we're hoping to expand to more in the Middle East and more events and such soon, because we're trying to get more of a client base in the Middle East.
No, that would be amazing. The Middle East I've only visited once, but it was phenomenal. So best of luck as you build clients there. It sounds like then day to day, things are very, very different, especially when it's off season versus on season. And it also sounds like a lot of your international travel is to events to cover them. Am I off base there?
No, you are. That is spot on.
So let's say, now is off season for the Hamptons. What are you typically doing from the time you wake up until you're going to bed at night?
Interestingly, so I go to the city.
Okay.
Very often. So I'm in the city now 3-4 days a week during the week. So it's a very easy commute. It's about a little less than 2-hour commute in, and it's great. So I'm, a lot of different meetings, building relationships, client roster, etc.
So you're waking up, getting ready, maybe starting your first cup of coffee, and then
Or I grab like a Celsius or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then heading into the city and doing a lot of your work in the city for the day. Do you usually have an office or a workspace that you go to, or are you jumping from venue to venue, client meeting?
I have a dedicated workspace in the city, and then we go to different venues and functions and such. But then I'll stay overnight with different people that I know.
Okay, so do you have a dedicated office space then in the Hamptons as well? Okay, and is that just for you, or is that also for the team that you're working with?
Yeah, it's for the team. It's right down the street here in Hampton Bays. What's cool about it here is I go to the libraries a lot, and we meet and we're so flexible out here, but we do have a dedicated space. Yes.
Definitely nice to have that, especially if you're being shipped products and other goodies all the time to try. That way it's not all going to your house or someone else's house and getting lost all over. How often then are you staying in the Hamptons for a day and working here?
So I do travel also. Now I'm here every weekend. I'm here on weekends. Mostly like Friday to Monday, spending time with my kids, because I want to maximize time with them, because they're in school and they're doing things, activities and such during the week. But other than that, I'm with them on the weekends, and we hang out. We're at home. We go. There's a really cool indoor pickleball studio.
Okay.
In Riverhead that we go to. Otherwise, if it's warmer, I'll take them to there's a park here. And what's cool is I live within walking distance to the village and train station.
Very nice.
So I'm very, very calm, relaxed. I don't do anything too crazy, because I do travel every 4 weeks or so. The only time I don't travel though is April through September.
And April through September, can you then walk me through? I don't want to say a typical work day, because I know that especially in the event space, no day is typical.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But maybe think back to an event that you were planning or hosting maybe one of your brunch events, actually? Like, what is happening leading up to and then during that day?
Oh my God, that's a project. We're on a lot of calls with every multitude of brands and businesses who want to be involved, and discovery calls, and oh my gosh, timelines. And then you're working with the towns for if it, the permits and, hiring staffing and catering.
Because can I actually pause you for just 1 second? Because I
Yes.
feel like I should explain, because I have looked up your brunch events and I'm sure that there's a handful of people who are listening who will know. But for those who don't, I know that I have a handful of like listeners on the West Coast. You host, and I forget, is it monthly or is it like annually?
Annually. That's the big event. And then we do other events that we do similar event. I am, speaking of West Coast, I am looking at bringing the brunch to the West Coast next year, because my business partner is based out there.
Okay.
From when is he there? Like October through, I think, like mid-April or so. But no, I'm thinking about it.
It sounds like it's like this incredible day where you have obviously a brunch, but also like wellness treatments and vendors and, shopping that can go on. And it's this really unique mix of people who are there locally, some celebrities, some influencers and tastemakers who are all visiting the Hamptons. And it's just this great, big, beautiful, amazing day. What am I missing?
That's you definitely got it. It's
okay.
And then we do different components of it. Oh gosh, I think this summer we're gonna use more of a wellness focused or oriented, just because that's so huge right now.
Yeah.
But it's been more culinary and interestingly beauty focused, just because of the brands that are becoming involved and such. But it's been very, very well received.
Yeah.
And it's been a mainstay event out here, and it's so cool. It's really, really a cool experience. Quite an effort planning it. I prefer, I'll tell you, I throw smaller events with like 80 people. That's nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, because how many people are coming to this brunch?
Like between 250 and 400 people.
Yeah, and that's a huge event to be planning, especially when, pressure's on. It's a bunch of tastemakers and people who are expecting a fabulous experience. I think there's a lot of people who hear events and they think like, oh, okay, like this is really cool and this is fun. But there's a lot of, I would say, like, there's some unglamorous pieces that go into it before the big day. So I cut you off a little bit to do a quick like brunch explainer, but I think you were getting into everything that there is leading up to it.
Yeah, a lot of logistics. And then, so people see the gift bags. My record for stuffing gift bags, I think we've done 250 gift bags. It's no easy task. When we have a system. And it'll take easily 12 to 15 hours.
Yeah.
With all the stuff. I don't know if you've seen the gift bags that we do. I get a little gift bag happy.
I've seen some photos.
And they're stuffed. And this stuff, the items, I would call them stuffed goods. That's not respectful. It's the items and the brands that are in these. I love going to people's homes who've attended the brunches and they have a candle lit, or they're using they're enjoying the tea that was in the gift bags, or people, and I go into people's bathrooms, I see the beauty products, and it's so exciting.
These gift bags, like if you were just listening, go and look them up because they are absolutely unreal. Like thousands of dollars worth of just gorgeous products. I mean, and everything from, home, wellness, beauty products. Like this is no joke.
Yeah.
So I can see how it would take 15 hours with all hands on deck to stuff those. Now, day of the event, what is happening for you? What time are you waking up? How are you prepping for the day? And then when are you done?
The day of the event, oh my gosh, I'm up at easily 5 a.m. Working out logistics. Texting, I have an on-site coordinator that I'll text to make sure everything is set to go, good to go. I have to get ready, make sure everyone on my team is ready. We're there about 2 hours prior to the event. Then I change about a half hour in. I sneak away and then I emerge as the brunch event that I do host or co-host. I have to step out and, be, camera ready and ready to go. talking and being available. I'm one of those hosts that I'm constantly I'm available for people. So I mean, I don't eat, I don't drink anything. I'll take like a few sips of water. And then when the event's over, I go. I go, all in terms of enjoying everything that's left over.
Okay, good.
Or I tell someone to like save a plate for me. My favorite was I asked someone one year to save a plate, and it got confused where the plate went, or
you're like, that's all I've been looking forward to is this one plate. Where is it?
But then all of a sudden they were like, oh, I'm kidding. I mean, then they had a bunch of stuff, saved and left over. I still have, like a couple years ago, still bottles of vodka and gin and other, wine and saved from previous events that I have. It's so funny is I save one bottle of all the different liquor, wine, spirit brands I've worked with.
No, that is a really fun tradition. You can go and look and see everything. No, that's cool. Sounds like then you've probably got a late night on event days, making sure, overseeing all the takedown and everything. So busy. In terms of, just your job in general, what is something that most people wouldn't expect?
The amount of work behind the scenes always comes to mind right away, and more the logistics, but how it is extraordinarily difficult in terms of all the personalities and everyone that you're interacting with.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's called the Hamptons Interactive Brunch. That is not a joke title. The effort it takes and how seamless maybe it is to drive revenue. It's very, very challenging.
Okay.
Because there's also a lot of unexpected costs.
Sure. That
people don't see too. I mean, including but not limited to like insurance and logistics, staffing, valet. I mean, on average, the valet, when we hire valet, is between $3,500 to $6,500. And that's just base price. Things like that, security, oh my gosh, cleanup fees. All of these come with significant costs associated. When they see a lot of these, celebrities that do events that I've helped to plan or, produce or coordinate, they are extremely expensive.
Yeah.
When even you have a dinner, like a 30-person dinner, and you have the flowers and you have all of the logistics of even the invite, even if you're doing, so say, an influencer dinner or a tastemaker or event, just hiring the representation for sourcing. So I help also source individuals for events and such. I help with that. I help with the event invite list.
Yeah.
And building. That's very intensive too, because you have to think about with a sit down event, people could cancel at the last minute. I am a firm believer in overbooking.
Yep.
Always overbook. I did a luncheon with a company called LDV Hospitality. And they have a property in East Hampton, and we had seating enough for 40 people. And I overbooked it for 46. I was right on the money, right on, because 6 people couldn't show. They were like, their kid had to go to college, back to school, whatever, sick, et cetera, et cetera. It worked. It was the perfect number. So again, for a 40 person, I overbooked by 6, which may seem like a lot, but it was right on. And I think it might have been 1 or 2 over.
Okay.
But it's easy you put 2. What you do is you have a table and you could put 2 people on each end.
Yep.
It just looks a little tighter, but let's put it this way. I would rather the room look tight. I'm a firm believer in filling the room, not to a point though, because I went to an event a couple of weeks ago and the room was packed.
Yeah.
And there is a comfort number. So like I'm looking in, a space, I don't know, like there's all these different logistics with square footage and such of how many people and what's comfortable and what's not. But the one thing that a lot of events lack is seating space.
Yeah.
Need to have enough seating because sometimes people, it's not even a matter of, people get dizzy and there's a lot of people and such. So it's very little details to be aware of, places to, put your water glass.
Yeah.
Also, it should be noted to where you can bring food, where you can't bring food. There's never enough garbages around at events. So, and you just have a very sleek black garbage. That's the way to do it.
No, that brings me to, I'm curious, what tends to be the most rewarding versus the most challenging parts of your job?
The challenging is explaining. So when you're doing like an experiential marketing event or a brand partnership event, the biggest questions that come about are, Who is guaranteed? My favorite is when people throw the word guaranteed around. I don't like that word, not because of anything. There's only certain things you can guarantee in life, death and taxes.
You're
So
not
when people
wrong.
say who's guaranteed to come to this event, or what's our guaranteed ROI? There is no. It's funny how interestingly people pack their business or their goals, if you will, into an event, which I find so interesting. And I'm a firm believer if people are not going into an event on a positive note right away, that's not a good sign. So if people are very critical of an event right away, of course, for the right reasons, if they're being critical because they don't know versus they know, but they have valid concerns, that there's a difference. But if you don't know how something works and you're automatically just right away very negative, I won't work with people on that alone. Biggest question is, well, how, like when a brand comes in, well, am I going to be making sales?
I can see that being challenging. I have always, I shouldn't say always, but kind of shifted to view events often as press in a way, especially if you're curating tastemakers and other people. You hope that that's something that will then push out and have returning dividends past the event rather than the event in and of itself. But I do think that that's not something that everyone considers. In terms of things that you love or really memorable projects or moments in your role, what has been rewarding?
Definitely seeing the event grow, how it's grown and how it's recognized, and truly the hard work that has been put in year after year, and seeing it translate into not recognition, but it's a recognized brand now. So it's really cool to see that, and people are really excited about it.
And generally, are there any events that you have worked on or planned for clients that you've been like, wow, this is a highlight of my career?
Yeah, they really are all the events that I do are so different, and they're all so unique, and it's really nice to see people who talk about an event that happened like a few years ago, and how it still resonates with them to this day. Like, wow, that was my favorite event of the summer, or I still remember this, that, and the other thing, that detail, because I'm extremely detail oriented when it comes to putting my events on.
Are you often signing NDAs for clients
Yes.
for your events? Okay.
Yes. So you'll see on the website that we have 3 case studies for our own events. We can't, because we're planning events for notable clientele, or just people that just don't want to be broadcast. They don't want their children's bat mitzvahs, for instance, broadcast. They don't want anniversary parties broadcast. It's not a commercial event. It's not a marketing event, so we cannot. And we just started doing wedding coordination or day of coordination, so we have to be very careful too.
I would imagine with all of the NDAs, I would imagine that can sometimes make promotion for yourself a little bit challenging. How do you approach self-promotion?
I'm able to just take specifically what has performed extremely well for our own events.
Okay.
And broadcast it out there. It does make it a little bit challenging, but we will ask permission. There's different options. Like if we use generic photos from an event, or video concepts that won't reveal anything, no names, no, you will never know, like a very, very specific detail, if you will. Stuff, but we can't do any exterior photos of any of the homes, interior. Mm-hmm. But if it's in a venue, we can, but specific details.
Okay. So you got to be very specific about what you're sharing, and I'm sure getting permission and approval.
Yeah. I mean, if you even go to who planned Jeff Bezos' wedding, their planner, you'll go to their website and there's literally nothing there.
Yeah.
It's literally just contact us. We're very discreet.
Yeah.
But they've been around for many, many years.
Now, do you feel like once you're kind of in those circles that word travels, word of mouth, how are you trying to build new connections?
Yeah, it's all word of mouth.
Okay.
Person-to-person relationships, networking. It's extremely hard. It's all I would say 95% of my business comes from direct referral. Mm-hmm. We don't even advertise.
Yeah.
Like literally, truly don't advertise. It's all word of mouth, because we feel like advertising, that's so cool that people know our name, but what difference does it make if they're not hiring us?
You're doing this on the luxury side. I think a lot of people who are perhaps interested in events start on a pretty low salary range. Do you feel like there's a lot of opportunity to grow, or in order to grow and reach higher salaries, do you really need to kind of focus in on either a luxury space or, one niche?
Yeah, in order to grow and scale and expand and to really bring in the revenue, you have to be very, very niche specific, very regional. Though I travel, yes, it brings limited opportunity for a business. But the one thing that I would really like to do is be able to plan more events for clients overseas. But that's a work in progress. That's not necessarily my focus. But that, I would say, again, very, very specific, and you offer a very, very specific piece of the puzzle. So for instance, it couldn't, something to seriously consider, maybe getting a warehouse. And, also as far as the production side, we have, a small storage unit where we store different chairs and, tables and such. So that's where the production element comes in. But we don't do we outsource for lighting and sound, et cetera, et cetera. But, it wouldn't hurt if you maybe did photography, videography, video editing, another component to the business to help things more streamlined.
Sure. So it sounds like, bring some things in-house, but make sure you're outsourcing what you need to. Do you have any advice for someone who is considering a career in events, whether they're fresh out of college, whether they're doing this a little bit later after some other career experiences? What would you tell them?
Start going to different trade shows for events. There's the Event Planner Expo in New York City. There's a number of event expos all throughout the country. Make sure that you go to those, network, and start to network with different, photography businesses. People have been doing this a while, and don't be afraid to even maybe shadow or do an apprenticeship type work with a company to really learn the ins and outs and the details, and also the laws of the state as well. Very important.
Not just state laws, but even county level and city level permits and laws and everything are a really big component. Would you tell people to expect, long days or flexibility in their work schedules?
There's some flexibility, but it is very hard work. I will say this, and you need to have thick skin to deal with many different personalities, I'll just say.
Yeah.
It's not a cakewalk.
Yeah.
At all. It's wedding planning, and also wedding planning is a whole other ballgame. I love doing private one-off events. The experiential marketing events are great to get your name out there, but they are extraordinarily challenging.
Hopefully at the end of the day, well worth it. As we're wrapping up, I have 2 more questions for you. I would love to know, as you're managing all this stress and you're having some long days with events, what do you do to unwind?
Yeah, I do jujitsu. I work out a lot. I love walking. I just started playing tennis, so I've really enjoyed that. I ski in the winter. I love being with my kids and playing with them. Yeah, I watch them ice skate in the winter, and I watch them play soccer and do ballet and art. I shut my phone and my computer off and have dedicated just nothing too serious, stringent, but quiet time. And I cook a lot at home.
Sounds like you then kind of move any stress out of your system in a very active way. I think there's a lot to be said for that. It's a good nervous system reset to work things out of your body that way. Now, as you think back about your career and your life and what you've built and what's ahead of you as well, I'm curious what success really looks like or feels like for you.
Yes, definitely. So success for me, feels that I am confident and that I could showcase what I do to others and help support others who are looking to grow in the same industry. And I've been able to take sort of a back seat, if you will.
Fabulous. Well, I wish you success as life carries on for you. Thank you so much. And that will wrap us up today. Thank you so much for taking some time to chat.
Yes, thank you. Likewise. We'll talk again soon.
Really appreciate you sharing your story, your experiences, and giving us a small peek into the world of luxury events in the Hamptons. You can find us back here next week with a new interview. We're out weekly on Wednesdays. You can find us at 100jobsproject.com and Instagram at 100jobsproject. If you want to support the show, please take a screenshot, share this on your Instagram story, leave a review. You know the drill. So thanks again, and we'll see you next week. Bye.